Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. This Premier League season just continues to be the season that just keeps on giving, or in Chelsea's case, the season where they just keep on taking. Mudryk is going to sign for Chelsea. He will not be wearing Arsenal shirts, he'll be wearing Chelsea's. And for the second time in this January transfer window, although it was Arsenal and Manchester United and João Felix, it's Arsenal again on Mudryk. Chelsea have swooped in from mid-table and are taking a player that they really, really wanted. And the interesting thing is that money talks, doesn't it? I was on Talk Sport last night and an Arsenal fan called in and they were very angry because they were saying, look, moral running of your football club is all fine and well, but ultimately football isn't about morals anymore, it's about money. And it's absolutely correct. Arsenal can say, well, the player wanted to come to us, but Chelsea blew us out of the water financially. Well, Chelsea signed the player then. It's as simple as that, isn't it? I know it's a difficult dilemma. Clubs can say we can't afford it, it's not sustainable, but you're not sustainable then, are you? If you're going to miss out on a player that wants to join you, that you've scouted for ages. And look, we'll talk about Chelsea in a minute. They seem to have this tactic of swooping in and buying players that others want, which I think is very dangerous. But in the context of the Premier League, this is quite significant because Arsenal spent a lot of time on Mudryk. It's a player they've scouted for a long time. They feel he's the right profile of player for their team. I think he is. I believe he's a right-footed attacker, so he could play off the right, but more importantly, he can play off the left. Martinelli has been fantastic, but you probably need another option there. It makes you very reliant on Smith Rowe now, who's been out for a while, or do you go for a plan B? Do you have a plan B? You have to have a plan B. You're top of the league. You've got a hand on the trophy. You cannot be sat there in May going, oh, well, we messed up the January transfer window, we messed up the title. I mean, I said this on the United stand this morning. Manchester United, there are some fans that are like, well, if we don't buy anyone in January and we get top four, that's a good season, and then we build next year. But next year, Chelsea will be back. Liverpool could be back. Man City could be stronger. That's three teams that could be stronger next year. Where's Arsenal and Man United then? What if the time is now? What if this is the golden ticket? What if this is your chance to win the title and you won't get another chance like this for 5 years? I'm not saying you won't be a top four club, but a title-winning club. I think any Arsenal fan, any Man United fan would admit if they were in a title race this year, and Arsenal very much are, you'd be saying that's way ahead of schedule. So you can't miss that opportunity. I sympathise with Arsenal. I think Chelsea would pay £150 million to get that player if they decided it, and Arsenal can't get in a bidding war. But could they have been quicker on the deal? Did they think they had the deal in the bag? These are things, and I think this is similar with Man United and Gakpo. I think that we thought with Gakpo and João Felix we could sit there until the end of January and grind PSV or Atletico Madrid down, but obviously Liverpool came in, paid the money. Chelsea came in, paid the money, and that's it. Money talks in this current regime that we live in, or this current football world that we live in. And I'm intrigued because I think if Arsenal bring that Mudryk in, it's a significant investment, over 60 million quid, top of the league, gives them a boost, gives the squad a boost, puts everyone on their toes, shows that they're serious, momentum, confidence, belief. And now that doesn't happen. What are you going to do? Just stay with what you've got? They've got to do something, but then it's clearly not plan A. So, privately, publicly, whatever, it is a blow for Arsenal. And again, as I said, money talks, money dictates, and ultimately a team that's mid-table and is not going to even get top four and probably won't win anything has stolen a player through money from a team that is having an amazing season under a very, very good manager who could win a Premier League title. Tell me that's not about money. It is about money. Mudryk wanted to go to Arsenal, but Arsenal wouldn't pay what Chelsea did, so suddenly Shakhtar Donetsk are like, Chelsea want you and they're willing to pay you this, off you go, and he's gone. So it's a difficult one. From the Chelsea point of view, I know quite a few Chelsea fans, and I think Chelsea fans at the moment are just struggling to be optimistic because the season's so bad. The season's effectively over. They're probably going to be in the Europa League next year. And to some Chelsea fans, these sort of signings irritate them because they're not what they think they need. And their concern is, and I would share this, is that their transfer policy doesn't fill you with confidence that they're buying players that they've been scouting for a while that suit what they need. It seems to me, log on to the internet, oh, Arsenal want that, let's get that. Oh, Man United are looking at that, let's get that. Now, that might work one or two times. Mourinho used to be a master of it. He took Willian to Chelsea when I think Spurs wanted him. I think he took Salah to Chelsea when Liverpool wanted him. But then Salah didn't work so I think it's not a good policy to have where Manchester United want João Felix, so you get João Felix. Arsenal want Mudryk, so you get Mudryk, because maybe Mudryk has been well scouted by Arsenal and suits a problem that they have. Is that a problem that Chelsea have? Well, Mudryk's another attacking wide player, isn't he? What's wrong with Raheem Sterling? What's wrong with Pulisic? What's wrong with Ziyech? What's wrong with Havertz? You've just brought João Felix in, Mason Mount. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but for me, Chelsea obviously need a holding midfielder and need a striker. They're the two positions. If I was in charge of Chelsea, I would say I want a really good holding midfielder and I want a striker. And I know they tried to get Enzo Fernandez, but that was feeble. That was absolutely feeble. We heard that they were going to pay the release clause. They didn't. And then the deal's off. Well, the release clause was about 100 million quid. Haven't you just spent that on Mudryk? It's not logical to me that. Enzo Fernandez is way more important than Mudryk as an outsider to Chelsea. The midfield isn't good enough. And a striker is absolutely essential in that system. I don't see a striker in that team. I don't. I can't see a striker. Aubameyang, forget about it. Havertz, God no. I don't see a striker. So, and also, the other thing is, Chelsea are spending a lot of money on these players that they're taking from other clubs. So Mudryk's going to cost a lot of money. João Felix's loan deal is a lot of money. And they're not in the areas that I think you need. So I understand some Chelsea fans would be like, well, look, what are we winning here? It's not a trophy to go, ha, 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 we took your player. Arsenal are top of the league, we're mid-table. We know we've got to build for something, but where do these players fit in the rebuild? Because I looked at Chelsea's acquisitions in the summer, and I look at them in January, and I go, I still don't think you've solved your problems. You're spending hundreds of millions of pounds, but I don't think you've solved your problems. You still haven't solved your midfield. You still haven't solved your striker, and you still haven't solved your right back. Like, Reece James has been injured for most of the season, and Azpilicueta's not up to it. Reece James is world class, but he's not fit. So why have you not brought a right back in? Where's your midfielder? Where's your striker? So I'm a Man United fan, and we're talking about these new financial regulations that are coming in about revenue and spend. I don't know how Chelsea are going to do this. Are you just using up all your revenue on the wrong players? So, look, I did say this a few months ago. Chelsea are the most exciting project to watch over the next 18 months. But I hope you don't spend all your money on the wrong players, because I think Chelsea have got the money to spend, but you can't just spend hundreds of millions all the time. That won't be allowed. Regardless of what people think about financial fair play, it won't be allowed. But also, I think there's a lot of wastage. Fofana was a right waste of money. That was terrible. You could argue Cucurella was a waste of money as well. It's about buying the right players. And we've not even spoken about Mudryk. I don't know loads about him, but he's clearly a good player. If Arsenal are looking at him and Chelsea are buying him, he's a good player. I think he plays off the left, right-footed, early 20s. It's a risk to bring a player in who's never played in the Premier League before. It's a big price tag on him as well. We've seen this with Antony and Manchester United, and Antony would be a little bit more known than Mudryk was. So he's a bit of an unknown, but very, very talented player with a big price tag in a team that's underperforming. I never think that's a good fit either. Massive price tag, steal him from Arsenal. You're putting a lot of pressure on the lad straight away. This is the player that cost a massive amount of money. We stole him from Arsenal. You're going to have Arsenal fans looking for every bad pass straight away because they'll be pissed off. That's just the way football works. So, yeah, I do think that it could work out. It could work out. It could be genius. But Chelsea's transfer strategy is confusing. And it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Arsenal fans think. When Chelsea fans think that, that's the problem. And sometimes as an outsider, you can see problems that fans inside can't see. Certainly this happened with Arteta, didn't it? I remember I and a few other people were saying Arteta looks like a good manager to me. You've got to give him time, and they're printing Arteta out t-shirts. So that can happen. And as I said, for me, I don't understand how you're going to pull off an amazing signing at the start of January. Enzo Fernandez, midfielder, release clause, fantastic signing. I disagree with people who are going, that's a ridiculous amount of money to play for Enzo Fernandez. You pay the money to get the player that everyone else wants in the summer. Like, he could be going to Real Madrid in the summer. Man United could come in for him. Liverpool could come in for him. He's not going to go for much less than 80 million anyway. So if you want to pay 100 million in January to secure the player, that's not a bad signing. They don't pay the money. They don't go for a midfielder, and then they spend most of that money on a winger that Arsenal wanted. Make that make sense. It's sporadic. It's scattergun. Should you not be signing another midfielder? Now, I've heard they might be going for Caicedo. I mean, where this money's coming from, it's fascinating. I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I don't know. I know how it works for Man United. You know, I know what our revenue is compared to spend and everything, but Chelsea, I don't know. I know they had that transfer ban, didn't they? So they've probably got a little bit of leeway, but yeah, if they go and get Caicedo and they go and get another striker as well, I mean, fair play. They've got Mudryk as well. But they need a right back, they need a midfielder, and they need a striker. Are they going to get those 3 players in the next 2 weeks? Because that's real progression for Chelsea. So get your comments in below. What are your thoughts, Arsenal fans? What are your thoughts, Chelsea fans? Again, for me, it's just another amazing example of what is an amazing season so far. Remember, we're live this afternoon. Arsenal against Spurs at Spurs, North London derby, huge game, watch along. Make sure you subscribe, tune in. We'll be live from about 4 o'clock for a 4:30 kickoff. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Get your comments in below.